Okay, this is Rich, and today's going to be a relatively quick tutorial on creating a custom camera view from flowgraph. I've gotten a couple of requests to show the basics of camera setup in flowgraph. There is some sort of limitation with what you can do with flowgraphing cameras, but you can achieve quite a bit. But most of your camera work for finalization is going to be done through C++, but there is some pretty cool things you can achieve with flowgraph. So we're going to show you how to do that today. It's not going to be in charge of moving around your camera. That'll be a separate tutorial if I choose to do so later. But today is going to be about assigning a custom view and explaining how this works and getting it set up. Alright, here we go. I opened up the free SDK and I'm going to be logging in. I'm going to be creating a new level here, and I'm just going to be creating the level camera test. And I'm going to assign a 512 by 512 height map resolution with meters per unit of 1, giving me a total of 512 by 512 meters. Okay. Already exists, so let's go with camera test 2. Same deal, 512 meters per unit, the total of 512 by 512. And I'm going to save it with the project of none. If you do have projects available, you can select them. Projects are in control of sharing your level with somebody else. So if I save my project with, let's say, my project, and I invited people on the CryDev site to my project, they would be able to open up my level. Currently they are encrypted, the levels are encrypted, so people wouldn't normally be able to open them. But if you create a project through when you create a level and you add people to your project, you'll be able to share your level with them and they'll be able to work on it and test it out. But today I just did no level, no project, so only I'm able to open it. Okay, once the level's open, we're going to go into the terrain tab. And we're just going to basically make a flat terrain. 24. And I'm going to speed painting here. This is not a terrain tutorial, so you should know how to do this. If not, I do have a tutorial on creating your first level on YouTube. Just visit my channel and you can find out how to do that if you don't. And here we go. And look around, and it's over here. Here we go. I'm going to go into the modified tab because currently there is a glitch. There is a glitch that if your entire level on the edges here, edges of your level are not inside of the water, if you have the water rendering, that will cause major glitches like just like that, as you can see. This is caused by your level not being inside of the water. Just lower it actually. I'm just going to lower the sides here. To get rid of that glitch. Okay. Now that that's solved, this is what you're going to have to do. First thing you're going to have to do is you're going to want to go into this tab right here. I think this is the objects utility panel here. And you're going to want to go to miscellaneous, and you're going to want to check a camera in there. There is an entity tab, and there are cameras, as you can see here. And let's see, other camera, shake camera, source camera, target. But these you don't want to use. You're going to be in the miscellaneous tab, and you're going to want to drag a camera. Go ahead and make sure that your follow terrain and snap to objects is there. Go ahead and click. Let's see here. I'm currently having my helpers turned off. If you have your helpers turned off, you can click this icon right here. It turns it on, and you'll be able to see at which the current view the camera is located. So we're going to want to go into the move tool and bring this camera up, a certain height here. If you want to see the current view you're looking at, go ahead and right click on the perspective, go to camera, and go to camera 1. You're going to be able to see from that view, just to get a good idea of where it's looking. Then right click again, go to default camera. So that's how you view from this camera. Let's go ahead and we're going to go to the rotation, and we're going to take on the x-axis and we're going to rotate it down by 45 degrees, and you can tell how many degrees you're rotating it by right here. So a negative 45 degrees. You can see it's facing down. So let's go ahead and just check again to see the current view by going to right clicking on the perspective up here, going to camera, camera 1. Alright, now we're looking at a 45 degree angle. Let's go right click again, go to default camera. Now I just want to show you, first of all, I'm going to go to tools, reload my scripts, AI, generate AI file, and I'm going to generate a surface texture, and I'm just going to go to the default and just click OK. Once that's completed, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump right in game. Jumping in game, you can see that first of all, the camera is not rendered. You don't see it like you did in the editor. The camera is never rendered here, which you don't want. And I do not have the custom view that I have. And in order to assign that view, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to create a flow graph. So go ahead and click on this, right click, and then I tried this as well. See is set as view camera. You click that. All it does is assign, just like right clicking and doing that. It doesn't actually make it your actual game. For proof here, I'm going to go jump in game, and you can see that obviously that wasn't my camera, so that doesn't do anything. Go back to default camera. So when you right click, you might think that this assigns it as your camera. It doesn't. So go ahead and create a flow graph, and I'm just going to name the group game camera. And once we're in here, you can see under entities, game camera. This is my flow graph. I'm going to right click, add node. See, add node up to the camera tab, and you're going to see not camera, not camera, any of these. What you're going to want is camera view. That's all you're going to want. Because this flow graph is assigned to the actual entity, you're going to right click on this, left click, right click, and assign graph entity. You wouldn't choose assign selected entity because well, you could. I mean, you can sit here and click on that, right click, and assign selected entity. But if you see here, it's a graph entity. That means that the entity is part of the graph. The flow graph was created on the entity, so it's assigning the entity that this graph is assigned to. So it's a graph entity. So you're assigning the camera that you created to this camera view. Once that happens, you're going to click add node. Right click, go here, add start node. So when the start node happens, you're going to output, and you're going to enable this current view here. Leave everything else at default. You can change these. I'll go through the parameters for a second, but I want to show you how you assign the camera. As you can see, it's just two simple nodes, but it does elude quite a bit of people because they just don't know where to start. I had an issue as well, but that's all you need to do. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump right in game, and as you can see, I'm at the current view here. So that's it. I can't move around, can't do anything, I can't rotate, can't do anything like that, but I am at the current view. So that's how you're able to do that. So let's go way off here, just to show you. Game, switch to game, and I immediately go to this view. Now your view is actually the camera. That's how you do that. So we're going to go over some of the parameters. You can left click here and you can change a lot of these parameters here, but once you assign that view flow node to it, you're going to want to be changing the parameters to that flow node, not through here. You could if you wanted to, but just for consistency, you want to be editing parameters in one place and not two different places, so that way you don't end up conflicting your different parameters. So let's go ahead and right click on this entity here and go to flow graphs, and you're going to see here the game camera, group camera, flow graph. Once we're in here, we're going to change the field of view to an extreme number, let's say by 180, and we're just going to close out of this and jump right back in game. You can see that it looks really weird with the 180. That changes your field of view. Let's go ahead and change it to a little bit lower number. That was a little bit too high. So let's go ahead and change the field of view to like 102. Just a random number, no purpose in choosing a specific number. Jump right in game, and you can see the different types of field of view. You're able to see more of the left-right side of the screen. As you can see, you can pretty much see the edges of the map. The upper right edge and the upper left edge, you can see the edges because you're able to see more of the map with a higher field of view. So let's decrease this field of view to a lower number. Let's say to something back to the original of a 60. So let's go back to 60. And you're going to be able to see that you're not able to see as much because it's a lower field of view. And here you go. Currently, Cryengine uses a default of a 60 field of view. So if you want a nice natural look like it looks in the editor, you're going to want to be choosing a 60 field of view, but you can change that as well if you wanted to. Let's go back in here, entities, game camera, camera 1. And I just hit the flow graph node here to open this up instead of right clicking on the entity. But you can, if you don't have that button there, you should, but if you don't, go to view, open view pane, flow graph, and it's going to open up the same thing. Alright, let's see what else we can do. Actually, none of these parameters you can actually do with my current tutorial. This is more like when the cameras, these are more like from here down. When the camera is in movement, it basically blends. So if you read here, enables field of view, position, and rotation blending. Blend field of view speed, how fast to blend in the field of view offset. These are basically when your camera is moving around in the level, how smooth is the transition from point A to point B. That's what it is. That's all it is basically choosing how smooth the transition is from one point to the other point. But that's how you assign the camera for a custom game view. Let's see if there's anything else that I could offer for insight here. Let's see. No, not really. Nothing I can really say. There was something that I wanted to do as well to show you, but I totally forgot what it was. But anyways, that's how you assign a custom view. Control G to jump in game. This does not currently hide your player or get him to disappear. He still is there, but you're just using a custom view. You know what? Maybe I will go into a little bit of. Maybe I'll go into a little bit of moving the camera. I'll go into one direction just to show you that you can move the camera. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to create an add node input key. This is a node here that accepts input from the keyboard or mouse, both. And what you're going to want to do is don't worry about a choose entity. This node does not need a choose entity to work. You can leave that blank. For key, this is what key you want to, when you press a certain key, this activates this node. Or, yeah, it activates this node. So what we're going to do is we're going to want to be moving left. So I'm going to choose A, because in an FPS game, usually A is left. So we're going to choose A. So when we hit A, we're going to want to do something. When we start the game, we're going to want to enable this node here. That's pretty much as clear as I can get. Let's go ahead and add node, because we're going to want to be, when we're pressing A, we're going to want to be moving this camera, not this node. This node is the entity that's assigned to this node. We're going to want to be moving. So that camera, we're going to be moving left on the screen. So we're going to add a movement parameter, which is add node movement move entity to, and the entity we're going to be moving is obviously the camera. Because the flow graph is assigned to the camera, we're going to want to right click and assign the graph entity. This is going to assign the camera to the entity, to this node. The reason being is because, again, this node is assigned to the entity. If you were going to want to be controlling a different model or entity in the world, you'd actually want to select the entity in your game, right click, and then assign selected entity. If the flow graph is assigned to that specific entity you want, then you're going to want to just assign the graph entity. What this does, the parameters here, this is a destination. What this means is when we move an entity to, where do we want to move it to? So where do we want to move this camera right here, the one in the game? Where do we want to move it to? What's the destination? What point? What point in X, Y, and Z in the world do we want to move it to? Dynamic update. This is something we're not going to need to be worrying about currently. Just keep it at a 1, not a 0. Speed. This is the speed. You do not want this to be a 0. You're going to want to increase this to, let's say, a 1. This cannot be 0. If it is 0, when you press A, it's going to move instantly. It's going to warp from point A to where it currently is to point B, which is the destination. It's going to go instant. We don't want that. We want it to just scroll along slowly, not go from point A to point B instantly when we hit this. So we're going to want a speed of 1. Ease distance at which the speed is changed in meters. We don't want to worry about that as well. This is basically a control of slow. You can increase the speed or slow down the speed based on how close you are to the object. If you want to ease your way into the object. So if I'm going really, say this is the destination, this is my object, we're going at a certain speed, and when we get closer, it kind of slows down, just like that. That's what this is a control of, speeding up and slowing down based on a certain distance. This right here starts the destination. So when we activate this output, it basically activates the entire deal. As in, when this receives an input of start, when something comes into this and activates this start here, what ends up happening is the entity starts to move to this destination. When we stop, the entity stops moving to this destination that we chose here. Well, what destination do we want to choose it to? We don't have an X, Y, and Z position, that we want a specific point. We just want it to move left on the negative x-axis. That's what we want to do. But when we hold A, we want it to go left. And if you know your coordinate system, left is negative x. So we want to move it in the negative x direction. So here we go. So that's the destination. We don't want a specific point. We just want it to keep moving left. So I got to remember how I did this here. Let's see. What destination? Okay, we're going to want to right click, add node, and we're going to want to we're going to want to click on this camera here. Click on the camera. Right click on a blank space, and we're going to want to add selected entity. Actually, my bad, that's not what we wanted. We're going to want to right click, add node, entity tab, entity position. That's what we're going to want, an entity position. For this entity here, we're going to, if you put an entity, any entity you put in here, it's going to get the position of it, meaning it's going to get the position, X, Y, and Z, the rotation, scale, its forward direction, its right direction, and up direction. So we're going to want to get the camera's position. Because right now, the game doesn't even know where to even start the camera position. So by assigning the graph entity, which is the camera, to this, it now knows where it's going to start, and this is where it's going to end. So currently, without adding the entity position, it didn't even know where it's going to start. So now by adding this entity here, this node, we told it where to start, and this is where it's going to finish. So when we press this, meaning if we press A and we hold it down, this is going to be activated. Even if we just tap it, as soon as you tap it, it's going to activate this node. As soon as you let go of A, it's going to activate this node. If you hold down A and not let it go, this just keeps outputting. It just keeps outputting, keeps outputting, keeps outputting, as long as you're holding it down. As soon as you release, this outputs. So we're going to, while we hold it down, as in when we press it, we want to start the update. As in, while we hold A down, we want to move this. We want to move the camera entity to a certain position. So now we got to describe what position we want it to move into. Well, here we go. Just bear with me now. We're going to want to right-click. Let's see. Right-click, add node, vector. We're going to want to add a vector. Actually, no. I think we want to subtract a vector. Add node, vector, sub-vector means subtract vector. We're going to want to take the current entity's position, meaning this is our camera. We want to take where it is currently. Wherever it is on a map, it will get its position no matter where it is. We're going to want to put it to slot A. And then we're going to want to change B to a certain value. This is X value, this is Y value, this is Z value. So on the X, because we want to move it in the left direction, if you know your coordinate system, negative X is left. So we're going to want to put 1, meaning we're going to take the current entity's position and minus 1 on the X direction. So let's say if it was here at 100, this position, this mouse cursor right here, this point, let's go in, see this little point right here? This is currently 100. This is its X position, is 100. We want to take away 1, which is right here. So it was 100, but we're taking away 1, so now it's 99. So it effectively moved left by one vector. Not vector, but 1 point, basically. Its position moved 1 left because we're subtracting 1 from its X position. So it takes from here, that's the current entity's position, and we subtracted 1, so now it's currently left. So that's position. We're going to output this to the destination, meaning it's currently 100, and we want to move to the 99. There we go. We want to move to 99 on the X position. Currently 100, we want to move to 99 in X position. Then it now knows it's 99. Then we want to move to the 98 position, and it sends it out to here. Then it currently knows its position, because this is a real-time node. It updates in real time. It gets its position at all times. So now it's 97. It comes here, okay, it wants to go to 98 position. There you go. So it effectively, while you're holding down, while you're holding this, it moves it left by 1 over and over and over again. Effectively keep on moving to the left. When we release it, when we let go of it, we don't want to move it anymore. We just want to stop it. So let's try this. I'm not sure exactly. I might have made a mistake, but let's go ahead and go to game, switch to game, and hold left. I'm holding the A. As you can see, I am moving left, and I'm letting go. In order to see the actual effects, we're going to have to increase the speed a little bit. You saw in that flowgraph node that there was a speed of 1. This is how fast to move the entity. We're going to want to increase this because it was going too slow. You can choose your own value, but I'm just going to choose 10 for now. So this is what's going to happen. I'm going to hit Control-G or go to Game, switch to Game, and I'm going to hold left. As you can see, my camera's moving left. When I let go of A, it stops. If I hold it again, it moves left. If I let go, it stops. If I hold it, it moves left. If I let go, it stops. That's the basic idea. You can apply that knowledge to different nodes, moving left, moving right, moving up, moving down, that kind of deal. So that concludes the end of this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it, and there is more to come. Like I said, I'm still working really, really hard. I'm sorry for not making a lot of tutorials lately, but I'm working really, really hard on getting things right so I can make some cool tutorials in the future. Thank you very much, and I hope this helped. Please comment, rate, and subscribe. Let me know, good or bad. I like criticism as well. That way I can improve my tutorials, because I'm trying to make it easier, not harder. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.